Lions TV, we are sponsored by Regal Elevators and Lifts Consultants Limited, a company that is owned and operated by a Millwall fan, just like every single one of the sponsors that you can see on the screen right now. If you are going to do a bit of business in 2020, then please keep it in the Millwall family by checking out all of our sponsors' website links in the description below. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. I can't stop laughing and I don't know why, because it's not funny, but it's just chaos, isn't it? What's happened to our lives? Just like that, football taken away in an instant and everything worth living for seems a mile away. I'm just completely devastated. I'm completely bored and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself. Obviously, I could go and do a bit of filming and do a bit of Lions Lounge, but you're not supposed to leave the house, are you? If you can work from home, then work from home, and I can work from home. So, mind blown. I never thought it would come to what it's come to, but it has come to it. So anyway, I need to provide you with some sort of content just to save myself from going completely insane, if I'm honest, more than anything. So what I've done is I've put the questions out on Instagram for a Q&A. We haven't done a Q&A in a very long time, and the reason being was I used to do them quite a lot in the early days of Lions TV, but it's only so many times you can get asked who your favourite Millwall player of all time is. That's Alex Ray, by the way, so don't be asking that question. But obviously, over the time, Q&A sort of died off, and I did brought in other content and other ideas. So I thought now would be the time where we've got time to sit, reflect, and ask any questions we may want answered, not about the coronavirus, just about football. My time as a Millwall fan, your time as a Millwall fan, just to get a little bit of content out, as I say, to keep us all sane and from climbing the walls too much. So I put it originally out for Instagram, and there is a method to my madness. I put the questions out originally for Instagrammers, and I will also, at the end of this video, give the opportunity to YouTube viewers, and I'll stick it out on Facebook as well, so everyone can have a crack and we can break it up into a few separate videos and pass the time until our next game. But that's actually part of some of the questions. So let's fire straight into the first question on Instagram, which was from MFC_Fraser_. His question was, who is Millwall's top goal scorer? Now, Fraser, we've got plenty of time, mate. We've got weeks. We've got almost a month. So let's give you a little bit of an in-depth answer to that question. As I'm sure we all know, our current top goal scorer this season is Matt Smith with 12 goals. Of course, he had only 9, but he went past Jed Wallace and Tom Bradshaw recently with his brilliant hat-trick at Nottingham Forest. I personally, when we signed him, didn't think he'd get 10 goals, and that's proved me. Oh, sorry, I actually said I don't think him and Bavarsson will get 10 goals combined, which has kept me quiet. And he's done very well, Matt Smith, and I wasn't sold on him for a long time as a Millwall player. Starting games, wasn't so sure, but definitely could be used in the right way. If we utilise him in the right way, definitely effective as a goal scorer for the club, which is what we need. And he's proved me wrong, I'm very, very pleased to say. So 12 goals for Matt Smith. He is our current top goal scorer this season. If you're talking all-time, of course, surely we all know that is Neil Bomber Harris, ex-manager, player and legend of the club. And of course, Neil Harris took that record from long-standing holder of it, Teddy Sheringham. Neil Harris scored 138 goals in just short of 400 appearances for Millwall in 2 spells across the club between the late 90s and late noughties, shall we say, before the 10s just started. So, Neil Harris, all-time top goal scorer, and Matt Smith, the current leading goal scorer for us in the Championship with 12 goals this season. Well done, big dog. Question number 2 on Instagram, and it is one that is on a lot of people's lips. It's from George C, 1998, and his question is, what do you think is going to happen to the whole Football League? And as by that, I think you mean I'm pretty sure you mean the coronavirus. It's suspended, as we know. It's suspended until at least the weekend of the 3rd of April. We are scheduled to play Charlton away on the 4th of April. What do I think is going to happen? Listen, it's all rumours. People saying this might happen, people saying that might happen. A lot of people saying I don't think the league will start again this season. I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't think that will happen. I think it's got to be finished in one way or the other. Obviously, the Premier League, Liverpool are so far in front they should really get the title if it doesn't end. But it's got to end somehow. There will be complete uproar if it doesn't. I think it's going to happen now because today the news has broken that Euro 2020, of course, a landmark year for the tournament. It was supposed to be spread across the whole of Europe. That has now been postponed and put back until the summer of 2021 to allow all European leagues to complete their season. So I think what's going to happen is the following. I think it will start again on the 4th. I think Charlton will be our next game. And I think that if that doesn't happen, it might get pushed back another month max. And then I think what will happen is, as I said, instead of pre-season being 10 or 11 long weeks, whichever that is, which in my opinion is far too long, our games will just get backdated, our season will get extended, and we will play on into the summer months, which won't be a bad thing, will it? A beautiful bit of sunshine and football down the den in sort of June, maybe even into early July, and then the players will get sort of a month off, 4 weeks, before they might have to start playing again. Is it harsh on the players? Well, they probably want a bit of time off. I would imagine a lot of them get bored with too much time off. And don't forget, a lot of them would have been on international duty anyway at the Euros. So I don't feel it's a massive thing. It can be achieved now. Definitely with the Euros getting put back, the league can be finished, and it needs to be finished, in my opinion. Will that affect our momentum and our push for the playoffs? Well, that's another question we'll get on to shortly. Next up is a question about the current squad football situation. No coronavirus involved. I love it. I can't wait for it. It's from Kieran Salisbury. And his question is, which positions need strengthening in the summer? And do you think John Berylson will back Gary Rowett? It's a good question, mate. I'm going to answer your question with a question. It's not a question. It's something I'm wondering personally, and I don't know the answer to. Obviously, Rowett has inherited pretty much, other than 2 players, a Neil Harris squad. They're players he's had to work with, he hasn't had a choice but to work with, and he's done wonders with those players. I sit here and wonder to myself at night, sad I know, who does he rate out of that squad? Who does he actually rate? Does he actually rate Bavarsson because he plays him a lot? Or does he know that Bavarsson's not really up to it, but he thinks he's a pick of a bad bunch that he's got? And I'm not saying we have got a bad bunch. I'm just trying to think inside Gary Rowett's mindset. But going forward, we've got a very good goalkeeper in Goalscorer. Luke still I'm happy with, but he's not a permanent fixture at the club, is he? He's on loan. I think he rates James Brown. I think that's been shown by giving James Brown a new contract. Romeo's thrived under Gary Rowett, so I think we're covered nicely in right-back positions. I think he rates Murray Wallace. He obviously rates Murray Wallace more than he rates Shane Ferguson as a left-back. So I think he might look for a new left-back in the summer, but keep Murray Wallace very, very much involved in the squad and as cover for left-back. Central defenders, we've got Alex Pearce, who he's worked with before at Derby, Sean Hutchinson and Jake Cooper. That is probably the area we are strongest in at the club, in my opinion, defensively, especially the 3 centre-halves, 3 very good centre-halves. As I said before, Sean Hutchinson, massively underrated. Alex Pearce, a brilliant captain on and off the pitch, and is the gel that holds that team together, even if he's not playing. And Jake Cooper, I expected big things from Cooper, and I think, again, he's been sold a bit short because he's very good, and he's been consistently very good, and that shows by playing about 150 games straight for us. And I think that gets overlooked sometimes. I think he's consistently so good that the fan base overlook that. So for me, we're nicely covered at the back. I maybe think another goalkeeper as cover for Goalscorer, and a left back maybe in the new season, if that ever fucking happens. Midfield, I think he wants to sign Ryan Woods, Sean Williams, Billy Mitchell, Ben Thompson, and with Ryan Leonard there as well as cover. I think our main 2 midfielders next year are going to be Ryan Woods with Ben Thompson, and I think you'll see Billy Mitchell and Sean Williams in and around it as well. And as I said, with Ryan Leonard as cover, I think Ryan Woods is going to be the big signing it will go for in the summer, in my opinion. Malumbi's definitely going back. Unfortunately, he's been brilliant for us. On the wings, this is the sort of, depending on what formation we play, but the wide men. I don't think Aidan O'Brien's really got a future at the club. Yuri Skalak hasn't really got a future on the club, and I'm basing that on they were sort of both pretty much involved when Rowett first came in, but they've recently both been playing in the 23s, and I don't think that speaks that speaks volumes for their future really under Gary Rowett. In my opinion, I could be wrong. The other white men, Conor Mahoney, again that's a one for me. Conor Mahoney, Tom Bradshaw, and John Daly Bavarsson. They're the ones for me. I'm not really sure where Rowett stands on those sort of players. I think Mahoney is clearly a talent, but can be frustrating at times. I'd love to see him play and really try and push on next season under Gary Rowett. But we need, as good as Matt Smith's been lately in his hat-trick, we badly need a centre forward. We need to spend decent on a centre forward, in my opinion. And I think, as I said, as well as Matt Smith's done this year for us and recently, definitely, I think Gary Rowett will look to buy a centre forward. I think he'll try and sign Mason Bennett as well. I think Bennett was brilliant against Forest, and I think there's a lot more to come from him. So we need. Last year we had we had a very active summer last summer, and we didn't have, we didn't spend loads, but we sort of did, because we had 10 new players in. That coming in with wages as well as agent fees and signing on fees. That would have amounted to quite a bit of dough. I think what we need to do this season is, again, and fair play to Harris, because the majority of the squad we've got, I'm happy with, and I think Rout is as well. I think he'll try and sign Woods. I think he'll try and sign Mason Bennett. And I think with other areas we need to, instead of spending little across different areas of the pitch, we need to spend big. So that is what I would do. I'd spend big on a centre forward, as big as we can. Will JB back him, is your other part of your question. I think John Berylson's been a fantastic chairman for the club. I really do. He's put a lot of his money in to keep the club afloat at times. And now that things are going well, he wants a slice of that. Of course he does. So Husky are involved now. There was obviously always rumours they want to buy the club. I don't know anything concrete. But, them working with JB can only be a good thing in my opinion. And I think in the summer it's time to break that hoodoo of, I was going to say Paul Goddard, that hoodoo of Ryan Leonard, and spend big again and sort of blow our transfer budget out the window. On one player, I'm not saying spend millions, but I'm saying to make a statement and spend 3-4 million on a player, which I think could be Ryan Woods, if I'm honest. Is sort of a statement of intent at the club and the way we're going forward. But yes, I think Rout will get money to spend. Yes, I think he'll buy, say, first team wise, a left back. I think he'll sign Bennett. I think he'll sign Woods, and I think he'll look for another centre forward long term. Because again, I'm not too sure if he rates Bradshaw. Next question is from Skulls Inc. Arts. He is a very avid supporter of the channel, mate. That doesn't go unnoticed. Thanks for that. Your question is this: do you think that this break could actually benefit us with players recovering, especially Thompson? Might make the frustration worth it? Well, I did say something similar to that in my video the other day when I released a statement saying all games were... I didn't release a statement. It wasn't my statement to release. When I did the video on the released statement of all games are suspended. Ben Thompson, is he the only one I've noticed really injured at the minute? I think he is, yes. I think we've got a pretty fit squad other than Ben Thompson. Obviously, he's coming back from surgery, Ben Thompson. We have missed him massively. As I said, right hand midfielders, but they're all very similar. And Thompson just gives us that little something going forward. Scored the first ever goal, obviously, under Gary Rowett's reign against his former club Stoke. Little stat for you there. But Thompson has had a setback in his injury. I don't know what it is, but the club released a statement saying that he had a setback in his injury. So I don't think you'll see Ben Thompson play a lot of football this season at all, if any, to be honest. The other thing is, in this situation is, like you're saying, will it be, can it affect our momentum? You haven't asked that question. I've sort of asked that question for you. It's part of your question without you actually asking it. So will that affect our momentum? Momentum's not really a thing, is it, at Millwall at the minute? We're very, very inconsistent, as I've said time and time again. So this break of matches, will it help us in the long run? Only time will tell. I just think sometimes it's surely down to the players, and if they fancy it. I don't think, we built some very good momentum under Neil Harris, didn't we? A 17-game unbeaten run, and we've done very, very well under Gary Rowett. He rectifies problems we do have, like when we lost his first ever away game to Reading. After that, we didn't lose an away game under Rowett for ages. Now, the shoe's on the other foot, and we need to try and recapture our home form. We was hoping to do that last Saturday against Derby, but it seems like a lifetime ago. It's like 3 days or something like that. But for now, listen, momentum isn't really the problem with Mill. I think it's consistency in the squad. And to answer your other question, I don't think, especially now with this injury setback and the position we're in the league, I don't think they're going to rush Ben Thompson back, if I'm honest, mate. But yeah, thanks for firing one in. The next question is from Regan Costello, and your question was, do I still think the Charlton game will still go ahead? I've sort of covered that in an earlier question, but this is a little thing I did think of. If it doesn't, and the teams that are in the bottom three get relegated, just, everything gets written off and the teams in the bottom three get relegated as you stand, Charlton will get relegated, which means it will definitely go into 25 years since they last beat us. But I'm hopeful it will get played, mate. I very, very am hopeful. Don't forget we've got, still a couple of weeks before that, and we had an international break, which is now not happening. So the 4th of April, not long after April Fool's Day, should be the day we travel to Charlton at the Valley. It's sold out. Over 3,000 Millwall fans should be travelling. And we'll be lively as ever, but having not played much football for 3 weeks, if we do get to play that day, I expect it to be a very, very good day just down the road in South London. So will it go ahead? I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to say yes. But if it doesn't, could be 25 years since they beat us, mate. This next question has just sort of blown my mind, but I'm not rude, so I'm going to answer it. And it's from Sing Hang Lai. And Sing Hang Lai's question to me is, do you know anything about extended scouting to foreign countries? Absolutely nothing, mate. I have no idea about that. I'm sorry. Our scouting team is the guy. Who's that scouting team? Is Alex Aldridge, the guy that used to work for News at Den, but now he's a scout for us. I think he is part of the scouting team at Millwall. That's all I know about the scouting team at Millwall, if I'm honest. You're talking about extended scouting abroad. I would imagine that's not really in the club's budget at the minute. I imagine Gary Rowett's got the ideas of players that he wants to bring in. I will also say, foreign players coming into Millwall, it's not just Millwall, it's just a risky game in general, isn't it? If we're going to go and we're going to get a player from abroad, we're not going to get someone from Real Madrid, we're not going to get someone from AC Milan. Wish we could. We're going to get someone from, the lower reaches of a French second division or something like that. For example, Christophe Kinney come over and did very, very well for us. Jimmy Abdou's come over, although he started at Plymouth and then come to Millwall. He's come over from abroad, and it's a very niche market to try and crack. So for now, mate, going forward, it'd be beautiful. But at the minute, I think Gary Rowett has ideas of players he wants in his mind, and I think they're all based in and around the Midlands. So definitely, at the minute, taking into consideration, of course, the current situation, our scouting team's feet will be staying firmly put in South Bermondsey. And the last question is from Francis Pendlebury 67, another avid follower of the channel. You're another guy that fascinates me, mate. I love the comments you make and appreciate your support of the channel and of the Patreon. So let's get far into your question. It's a good question. It's the last question in this Q&A, and it is, who is the longest serving Millwall goalkeeper? Now, in my lifetime, there's been a lot of good Millwall goalkeepers, and just outside my lifetime is two that are frequently mentioned. The two that are frequently mentioned from outside my lifetime are, of course, Alex Stepney, who went on to play for Manchester United, and Brian King. A lot of people say he's the all-time greatest goalkeeper for Millwall, and I get a lot of shit for not putting him in greatest 11 teams, but not being born till 1980 made that a little bit difficult. Obviously, in my lifetime, Brian Horne, Tony Warner, David Ford, Jordan Archer. No, scrap that last one. Brian Horne, Tony Warner, David Ford, Casey Keller. A lot of good goalkeepers, if I've failed to mention any of them. But they're the four standout goalkeepers for me in my lifetime. Horne, Ford, Keller, Warner. And I took a guess at this question. My guess was David Ford. And it turns out I was pretty much right. David Ford played 299 games for the club between 2008 and 2017, which is a 9-year stint at Millwall. And he was a fantastic keeper, a big, no-nonsense Irishman. He was good for Millwall. I always remember him being even better when he played for the Republic of Ireland, and he truly was a Millwall legend. Used to love a cigar with JB on the pitch, didn't he, when things were going well. And although towards the later stage of his career, age started to creep in and his performances suffered a little bit, I always think back on Fordy with fond memories. But it's a little bit of a catch-22 question because, yes, David Ford did 9 years at the club, but Brian King did 1967 to 1975, which you do the math, is 8 years as a Millwall player. But he managed to play 380 games for the club. So, longest serving, I suppose you'd say Ford. Most performances, and from what I hear, in no disrespect to Ford, a better keeper, the best keeper to ever play for Mill. Brian King was pretty much an ever-present, wasn't he? In 7 seasons to play 380 games. You do the math. He's pretty much played every game straight for 7 years, and he was part of some very successful sides that included Barry Kitchen, Harry Cripps, Alan Dorney, amongst others. So fair play, great question, two great goalkeepers. And by the way, if anyone knows Brian King, I'd love to do a Lions Lounge with him. So that's your lot for this Instagram Q&A. It was a little bit slow starting, wasn't it? But I got into it eventually. I'm just trying to get myself back into the swing of things because at the minute, I'm just sulking like a big kid doing kick-ups with toilet rolls in the front room and stuff like that. But the show must go on, and I'm always open to content ideas, so put it in the comments below if you've got any ideas, if anyone knows any ex-Millwall players. Like I said, on our social media, I've been putting them out every night on Facebook and Instagram. I've done over 25 Lions Lounges with ex-players and famous fans of the club, and I'm trying to do more. So Brian King, I've been trying to go to Kevin O'Callaghan. If anyone knows any of these players, and they're not currently in self-isolation, I'll go and interview them during the time we got off so we can get some Lions Lounges out. I am struggling for Lions Lounges these days. And that being said, you know, I've done a lot, but also the flip side of that, you've got a lot of ex-players that are living abroad, coaching abroad, still in coaching. You know, they'll always, you know, not really fancy doing it. So if anyone knows any ex-Millwall players, and I mean first hand, not like my budgies, aunties, parrots, dog, knows so-and-so, lived next door to him in 1970. If you know a player first hand, please get in touch with me via social media. And now, as I said, I'll also open it up to you guys on YouTube. Put your comments below. Put your questions to me below for a Q&A. And once we've got sort of 10, 20 questions in there, I'll put another video out next week answering all your questions, just like I've done on this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I I hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe, boys and girls. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.